Alright, Mind Over Matter, Essence Drain Trickster, Budget Build Guide. Let's hop into this. Opening up a map, gonna show the build off a bit, talk about what's new with Essence Drain, and then after the map I'll go over the gear and the specifics of the build. So for anybody who's played or seen Essence Drain prior to 3.0, the build plays very similarly to how it has in the past. You do your contagion combo, you kill the mobs, the contagion spreads everywhere, and you get nice big chains of purple death. However, with some of the changes in 3.0, Essence Drain has seen a handful of buffs and also some quality of life improvements. The most noteworthy being the Arcane Surge gem almost feels like it was made for Essence Drain. You can just throw it onto your contagion and it's basically just free spell damage, free cast speed, and some mana regen that you're getting at no extra real cost. As well as Essence Drain itself got quite heavily buffed in the damage department. This was probably done to counteract the nerf to the decay weapons and delirium. But for mapping, it's actually a huge buff since the decay damage did not spread from your contagion anyway, only the Essence Drain damage spread. And then contagion itself has gotten some extra radius. It goes up to +4 base radius at level 20. I believe it's 1 radius every 5 levels. So you can see the contagion AoE is much larger than what it was last league. Now for my current setup, this is a character I ripped to a disconnect a couple days into the Hardcore Harbinger League, so I didn't really get fully set up. And you'll notice my single target is a bit lacking, but there are solutions that I have since found that I'll be going over with the gear that make the single target a lot more bearable. But overall, really smooth mapping, really safe mapping, and pretty goddamn cheap. So first let's go over the gems. You've got your Essence Drain, 5 linked up with Swift Affliction, Void Manipulation, Controlled Destruction, and Efficacy. If you're on a 4 link, you're going to want to drop Swift Affliction, it's easily the worst, and Efficacy is easily your best support gems. For the Contagion, you'll take note that they're in the gloves. This is for a reason. Contagion linked with AoE, Arcane Surge, and faster casting. Now, there's a new pair of gloves. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how good they were until after this character was in standard. New gloves called Allelopathy. They give you level 22 Blight and some extra damage over time buffs. What I would plan to do, had I continued this character, I would snag a pair of those gloves. I wouldn't wear them for the map, but I would hold them in my inventory and I would swap them in for bosses and use the Blight, and it just melts bosses down. And in that second pair of glove swap, I would have just 4 damage supports with Efficacy, Controlled Destruction, Void Manipulation, and Arcane Surge, and those will all be linked to the level 22 Blight in the gloves. And that Blight ends up doing, at max stacks, I think over twice as much as your Essence Drain. So it actually like triples your boss DPS. It's incredibly powerful. Other than that, we've got regular shield charge setup, faster attacks, fortify. In the helmet, we've got our Wither Totem and our Flame Golem. Got Flame Dash over here with our Temp Chains Blasphemy, and then in the boots we've got Castle Damage Taken, Immortal Call, Duration, Lightning Trap. The Lightning Trap doesn't actually do very much, but I kind of ran out of gems to put anyway, so it's a nice little boost. And for the gear itself, it's very budget friendly, like I said. Pretty much all of its rares, with the exception of the Mind Spiral helmet, which, as far as I know, these are still 1 chaos or less. And this helmet is amazing for the build. Gives you a ton of flat mana, since you're Mind Over Matter. Contributes to your total health pool. 10% of mana gained as extra maximum energy shield. So if I take this helmet off, you can see I'm gaining almost 500 ES from the helmet. And then also 10% of damage taken is gained as mana over 4 seconds when hit. Now this got changed, it's kind of a nerf from prior to 3.0. It used to be instantly you gained that mana back, but now it's over 4 seconds. I'm not sure if that means that if you take 2 hits at the same time, if it only gives mana back for 1, or if it gives mana back for both but it's just delayed. But either way, it synergizes extremely well with our Trickster node here. 70% increased recovery rate of life, mana, and energy shield. That's basically a 70% multiplier, so you actually are gaining 17% of the damage you take back as mana, so it basically makes it almost impossible to run out of mana, even when you're getting wailed on. But then everything else you'll see, I just found a rare weapon in my stash. It's got a lot of spell damage actually, but probably not very expensive to find something. Ring, pretty weak, just some res. Belt, you're going to probably want a flask mod or two. Res, gloves, life, mana, res. Life, move speed, life, res, mana. Pretty much you're just looking for life, mana, resists, and then whatever the stack gives, like boots, you obviously want move speed, but everything I'm wearing other than probably my 5-link is worth at best a couple chaos, maybe a few chaos in the hardcore league, so it's all very, very cheap. And it could be easily improved. You see a lot of crafted life that's not doing much of anything. Now, as far as upgrades go, I've got right here in my inventory a Breath of the Council. I think this is possibly the best weapon for you for mapping. It doesn't have attack speed as its only real drawback, but it provides a whole heck of a lot of damage, increased AoE, and increased Chaos skill effect duration. And the big thing is that Chaos skill effect duration, since I don't have any, we're not taking any duration on our tree, that makes the Essence Drain last longer and the Contagion last longer, so they actually spread potentially to more packs, like especially when you're fighting tanky maps or tanky blue packs, you're able to kill them and then still spread on to the next packs over. And it also increases the duration of both Wither and Blight if you get the Blight gloves, which is a huge boost to the single target DPS. These are a bit pricey, and it's probably the first big item I would go for the build, but it's not required to play the build at all. And like I said, you would also upgrade the gloves with a glove swap to the Allelopathy for single targets, and other than that, it's pretty much just all rares all the way. Get as much stats as you can. For the flasks, we've got our Quicksilver, Basalt Flask, a Mana Flask, Sulfur Flask, and a Life Flask. Ideally, you'd probably swap the Sulfur Flask out for a Witchfire Brew, and then go grab Dual Curse to get that in, because that'll be some extra damage. The flask is pretty straightforward. Passive tree, I'll mouse across it pretty quickly. I'll put the tree down in the description. It's mostly just damage, life, mana. And the only big notable really is Mind Over Matter, because like I said, I don't have the Witchfire yet. But if I were to have my Witchfire Brew, I would probably drop Precision and a Blast Radius and use those 4 points to go grab Dual Curse. And other than that, yeah, you're just getting tanky. For our Ascendency Tree, this character did have Uber Lab completed. You've got Patient in order of what you probably want to take them in. Swift Killer, Patient Reaper, Weave the Arcane, followed by Walk the Aether from Uber Lab. This one gives you your power and your Frenzy Charge. This is a ton of damage. Patient Reaper gives you some more damage and the increased recovery rate, which makes your Essence Drain heal you for more. It makes your ES fill up quicker when it starts recharging, and it also makes your mana, it's basically giving mana regen and also extra mana, like I said, for the Mind Spiral. Weave the Arcane just gives a big boost to your max mana and a lot more mana sustain, as well as a little bit of mitigation. And then Walk the Aether is just extra move speed, clear speed with your shield charge. Well, for leveling the build, it's actually pretty damn easy to level a Chaos build finally with 3.0. because they have added a new vendor recipe in addition to buffing some of the skills early on. All you need to do, you get a blue-green wand. Doesn't really matter what level the wand is, probably low level so you can use it right away. You transmute it so it's a magic wand, and you're going to sell it to the vendor with a Blight Gem, which you can buy for 1 wisdom. And what you will get is a +1 Chaos Gems wand. And you're going to use this pretty much all the way up until probably level 35 or 40 when you get a 4-link Essence Drain, and then you're going to replace it. But initially you'll just have Blight Arcane Surge in here. You don't want to level the Arcane Surge. And then when you get level 4, you're going to switch to Contagion Arcane Surge. And that Contagion Arcane Surge in the +1 combo will one-shot basically every single white mob that you encounter from level 4, which is pretty much ledge, all the way until just about the end of Act 3. Contagion will kill trash by itself. And then at level 8, you're going to put Void Manipulation in the green socket. So basically you get the Contagion, and then all Essence Drain really is used for while leveling. Once you hit 12, you use it to kill bosses, and you use it once you get to, for me I found it was Act 4 was when Contagion kind of stopped cutting it, so then you actually need to get Essence Drain in the damage setup, and Contagion goes back to its AoE setup. And then from there, the rest of the way, you can just level with the regular Essence Drain setup, and it feels like the Essence Drain build. And as long as you over level a little bit, the bosses aren't really too much of an issue. I think that's about it for the build. Once you get to full endgame and whatnot, you do have the option to switch to low life, and I'll probably do some sort of low life build guide in the future, but that'll be more basic, more advanced stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, make sure to ask them in the comments. I'll try to answer them all as best I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.